Hey there everybody, my name is Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading video for the week starting October the 12th through to the 18th, 2020. So let's start shuffling. I'm being drawn to work with this card deck for Monday. That's called the Goddess Guidance Oracle Cards and contains messages and depictions of goddesses from really religions and disciplines all around the world, from Celtic to Egyptian to Mayan. And Monday's card is Isolt, Undying Love. Now there are a couple of heavier elements here. Let's start with the lightest. Isolt is depicted in a garden, very much associated with nature. So at a very surface level, this message could simply be telling you to spend more time outdoors, to connect with nature. I know this comes up all the time. If you watch my videos a lot, you'll be like, oh really, again? But honestly, we need this message a lot because we get so locked inside in our screens, and particularly depending on the type of COVID-related, I guess, restrictions you might be under. But hopefully you've still got the capacity to go outside, or maybe bring some indoor plants in. So going into those heavier elements, undying love is what this card is all about. This card in a personal reading often comes up for people who are going through a breakup, or recently have gone through a breakup, or who are grieving for someone that, a bereavement. So it can be a really sensitive, delicate message to get across, essentially talking about heartbreak. And I don't know how well you can see this actually, but she is wearing a little heart around her neck. I think the message is really about healing of the heart. So what do you need to do to work on the healing of the heart? Is there, are you still holding on to perhaps the possibility of your ex coming back? Are you still beating yourself up for something you, quote, should or could have done, instead of moving to a space of acceptance? Really hard to do, I know. Is there something that you haven't learned from that situation which is affecting the way you approach romantic situations now? And if it's bereavement, obviously there isn't a great way to shortcut that process. It is extremely painful and goes on a really long time. But are you doing enough to support yourself through that process? Are you talking to people who actually are willing to listen, or are you talking to people who are uncomfortable and are trying to move you along to the next stage without really letting you feel what you feel? So those are some things to think about, but it's really bringing through some heart healing energy there, which is beautiful. But I know there's, obviously some elements of sadness there as well, and I don't want to make light of that because I know it's a difficult message. Tuesday's card here is Be Brave. I mean, those two cards could be related. Perhaps the angels are asking you to be more courageous as you work through this process. Being brave doesn't mean stuffing down what you're feeling and ignoring it and pretending to be like really fearless. It means, acknowledging what's going on, acknowledging how you feel, and choosing to move forward anyway. And sometimes we need to be almost faking it till you make it type of thing. If you don't feel brave, sometimes we just need to remember that we don't have to pretend, we can pretend to be a little more confident than what we are. It doesn't mean, trying to be all gung-ho and fearless, which is a really hard thing to do, but it just means maybe borrowing a little bit of the confidence that you see in other people. And once you use that to fuel you or give you momentum to move forward, it might start to flow more naturally there. So, and it could be related to all sorts of situations as well. Maybe just the courage you need to get through the day because you're going through a really hard time. So we all have wonderful resources, reserves of courage and strength that we don't tap into. And, in an ideal world, I guess we wouldn't need to because life would be easy. But hey, we were never promised an easy life, were we? Wednesday's card here is Child. So feeding into what I've just said, this card often comes up to reassure people that you're being looked after, really. In the same way that a child in an ideal situation is getting looked after by their parents, this card reminds us that we are being looked after too. I know as adults we tend to think it's all on me, but actually we're children of the universe. We've got a lot of support and we're not alone. So sometimes just having that faith and that trust that a child has that everything is going to be okay, even though we don't know how and we don't quite know what to do at the moment, just getting that reassurance and feeling a little bit more, working on feeling safe within the situation we're in now, and then we start to get into a better space to actually make those decisions we need to make. So obviously with child, it could be literal as well. If this is, if you are a parent, this could be about something going on with one or more of your kids. Is there a child of yours who's struggling at the moment and needs a little bit extra support from you? Are you being called to do more, to work with kids, or to do some volunteer work with kids or something like that? It could be that. And sometimes it just comes through to reassure parents that they're doing a good job, which I think every parent probably needs, because it's a really hard job. So, you know, try and back yourself a bit more, and know that you're doing the best you can in what is an incredibly difficult and ever-changing situation. Sometimes, I wasn't going to share this, but I'm getting told to. Sometimes this comes through for people who want to have children and are worried it will never happen for them. Sometimes it comes through to reassure them that they can, you know, to believe in that and to prioritise it if that's something they want, to make it happen, and to give them the reassurance that it can happen for them if that's what they want. Thursday's card here is Earth Angel. At a very basic level, I guess, it's about letting you know that you've got some spiritual abilities, and is it time to maybe develop those a bit more and do something with them? If it's not the work I'm doing, working with the angel cards, working with clients, maybe there's something else that you're getting called to do. I don't know, become a yoga teacher or a meditation coach or something like that. This comes through to let you know you've got a big life purpose. You're here to serve in some way. You're here to help promote the idea of peace and love in some way, whether that be for you doing your own personal development and role modeling that for other people, or whether it's you talking about your experiences or working directly with other people. I don't know, everybody's path is different, so it's up to you to really do some thought on that. If you're not really open to that right now, maybe just learning more about spirituality, committing to meditating more, committing to writing in your journal more, whatever it is, just committing to really moving into a more spiritual space on a regular basis, whatever that might look like to you. And trusting your intuition, that's a big thing. And I have to admit, even though I'm working with intuition all the time, I still struggle to do it sometimes. It's not always easy. So sometimes, please don't be discouraged if you think, my intuition was telling me this thing and I didn't do it. So does that mean I'm not really this good at doing, you know, maybe I haven't got an intuitive connection? It's not the case. It's just that sometimes our human side clamours for more attention, and it can be really difficult to lean into that intuitive space. So don't be discouraged if you feel like you're not winning at this stuff, because it can be hard. You know, we are human as well as souls. So it could be, the card could be signaling as well, if you're in a situation where your intuition is telling you something, that card could be the validation that absolutely your intuitive messages are accurate and please follow them. Friday's card here, which I shuffled as I was banging on, the person you are asking about is trustworthy. So literally, if you've met someone, or you're working with someone, or there's some capacity where someone, you're not quite sure whether to trust them, the card is letting you know you can trust them. I just want to talk about trust more generally. So trust, people often talk about not being able to trust other people. And what they actually mean when we delve into it a lot is they can't really trust anything. They can't trust the universe. They can't trust that they're going to have enough of what they need. They can't trust that people are always going to be there for them. They can't trust that good things are going to happen for them. If you boil it down, it's a lack of trust in the universe, which is understandable. This is a very volatile world. We don't have a lot of control over it in some ways. So what we're called to do as light workers, as humans, is to develop our ability to trust that things are going to be okay, even though we don't know how that's going to look. The human side's like, I've got no control over this unless I know there's going to be a guarantee. I don't know. And we need to work at overruling that and going, I have everything I need. It's going to be okay. We've had a lot of safety related security, emotional security, messages lately, and this feeds into that. So really working at being better able to trust that everything's going to be okay, to trust that things can work out, to trust that you can have good outcomes as well. I talk about this a lot in regards to goal setting and manifesting, very difficult to manifest or attract an outcome that you don't believe you deserve, or you don't believe is even possible for you for whatever reason. So that can be a challenge, and please see an energy worker an energy healer if that's coming up for you, because it's something that needs to be healed and pulled out of your energy at a deep level so that you can really move into a space of believing that good things can happen. Because pessimism is a trick that we like to play to avoid feeling disappointed, and it just doesn't work. Saturday, remember who you are. I think this feeds into that Earth Angel message quite well. It says you are a powerful, loving and creative child of God. You are very loved. So if you are going through something right now where you feel like you don't fit in, you're feeling isolated, you feel like you don't understand people, you don't know what you're here to do, you don't know what your life purpose is, this card could be some reassurance for you that there is something that you will eventually figure out, and just be okay with being who you are at the moment, even if you don't know entirely what the essence of that is. It's a journey. We don't get a massive download in one meditation of everything we need to know and what our life purpose is, but we just need to keep coming back to the essence of who we are, that we are loving people, that we are we are people who are here to practice love. We are people who are here to learn to trust and to form healthy connections and grow and deepen our understanding of the world and each other. So maybe the card could be telling you or helping you remember to be okay with who you are, even if you don't have all the elements of that lined up right now, but to remember that you're not like everybody else. And maybe for some of you who have been feeling bored, disenchanted, or not really connected to the work you're doing, the word creative keeps jumping out to me here. So a really good way to counter those sort of feelings, or to lessen their intensity, is to develop your creative side, which everybody has, even though lots of people think they don't. So doing something that's creative, because it helps you be more present. The act of being creative is being in a conversation with the divine, because the ideas you get, the way you express yourself, whether it's through art, dance, whatever, writing, they're coming from the divine, and you're just being a vessel for them. Even though your experiences are filtering at the way those are expressed, it's really a very spiritual act, being creative. So that might be a helpful way to approach that. So shuffling for Sunday. Sunday's card is Reach for the Stars, which might seem like a really some big energy for a Sunday, but this is asking you to think about goal setting and what it is you're aiming for. The message is great. You deserve only the best, and this is all you should focus your attention on. So this loops back nicely to what I said earlier about our expectations, what we believe can happen for us, what we believe we deserve. If you think somewhere in your energy there's a belief of, things don't work out for people like us, or I'm always disappointed and nothing ever works out for me, these sort of beliefs can be lurking there, and they can really prevent us from having capacity to attract good things, because the good thing you attract is going to feel threatening to you, because you've been telling yourself you can't have it, and you're going to try and reject it in some way. So you probably, those of you who have read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, there's a great anecdote she tells of a guy who wins a sum of money, and he keeps telling everyone, oh, nothing good ever happens to me, I never win anything, and then suddenly a bill for that exact amount of money pops up. So he sent out energetically this idea of, I can't have good things, so that the universe responds by sending him away to reject the money straight away, to make him feel more comfortable, because he hasn't got capacity to hold the good outcomes. So thinking about whether, have good things happened to me, and have I felt comfortable with that, or have I always been worried that they'll fall apart, or that they'll be taken away from me? Do I set my goals high, or do I play small? Really thinking about that sort of thing. Where am I focused on right now? Am I focused on where I want to be, or am I focused on where I think someone like me could get? Maybe you need to lift your game a little bit more. And I guess a Sunday, even though it's not a day we typically, well, depending on what you do, I guess, and how you live, for me personally, it's more of a rest day. I don't tend to be thinking about running around getting things done, but it is a good day for self-reflection. So maybe you could spend some time thinking about what it is you're working on and what you want to do. So looking at the cards, there is a big theme around goal setting and manifesting, I guess, but also thinking about what is my purpose? What am I aiming at the moment? What am I aiming for at the moment? I know this hasn't been a year for that. I know most of us have been in survival mode most of this year, but there's still capacity to think about, what do I have? What things within what's going on do I have the control over? Do I have the power to change it? Can I set some goals within that? A lot of healing coming through as well, and really getting us to think about relationships in terms of healing, heart blockages, but also thinking about where the trust issues are playing out for us now and our connections. So that's it for a week. I hope that for this week, I hope that's been helpful for you. Don't forget, I do offer personal readings via Zoom. Payment is via PayPal, and so distance is not a problem. And that's a really good way to get some tailored, personalized advice on what it is that's coming up for you, and to help you really make better decisions for yourself. The cards do not predict the future. I can't tell you what's going to happen to you. There are no guarantees here, but what they do is shine a light on where you might be getting stuck and what it is you maybe need to focus on in order to move forward through what is happening for you. And I also do energy healing to help clear some of the deeper blocks that are playing out in your energy beyond what we know in the brain. They're sort of working at a deeper level. So that's really it for the week. Don't forget to reach out if you are in need of more information, or want to maybe figure out if my work is right for you. You can do that via my website, www.onegroundedangel.com. You can email me, onegroundedangel@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram, where I post each card each day at One Grounded Angel, and on my Facebook page, also called One Grounded Angel. Try to avoid sending me a DM. I don't check them very often because I get a lot of, shall we say, not always great messages through there. So I don't check it a lot unless I'm in the right headspace. Emails and approaches through my website, through the contact form, are definitely a better way to go. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great week, and I'll be back here next week, as always, to do a reading for the following week as we barrel towards the end of 2020. Can you believe? I'll talk to you next week.